Now what we're going to do is look at potential and energy. Even the common definitions just simply don't make sense, because if you look at the word energy, it's usually defined as the capacity to do work. Okay, if it's the capacity to do work, then it's not work. And what does capacity mean? Capacity is potential, which is an ability to do something at some future point in time. So a lot of the common language in the dictionary is going to equate energy with potential, which is completely ludicrous. It's nonsense, and it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So you have all these kind of contradictions within the common language, and it's easy to see why so many people are confused, and they truly don't know what the difference is between energy and potential. That includes the physicists and the engineers, the academics and the laymen alike. So again, energy is usually defined as a capacity to do work. That means it has the future ability or the future potential to be able to do work at some future time. Okay, so what this is just showing right here is basically the language is all screwed up in the English language, and it's so convoluted with all kinds of nonsense like this that it's very difficult really to put it through the right kind of filters and then shake the garbage out of it to be able to see what's left standing, to see if anything makes sense. So energy is not the capacity to do something at a future time. Energy equals work. It is not the capacity or the potential or the ability to do work at some future time. Energy equals work. Now, work being done is not a noun. That is a verb that the potential goes through. So if we look at potential, a lot of people are conditioned to believe that potential is abstract. Like, look at little Johnny, who has such great potential to do good things in his life. Oh, look at little Jill, she has such great potential to do this and that. And that's one of the more common ways that people relate to the word potential, which is in that context basically an abstract. But if we're talking about energy sciences and we're looking at what the ether is, how you even get the potential energy to have a potential difference to begin with, to be able to do work to begin with, to be able to manifest electricity or a moving object or whatever it happens to be, we can't think in those abstract terms because it's just magical thinking. Okay, it's complete nonsense. So what potential is the thing. It's the ether. It is the noun. More properly, when you actually look at it for what it is, you start to realize potential is the thing. Because inside of space, there is this infinite potential available. That potential is like in a flux where it's constantly fluxing in and out, and overall it's very symmetrical and homogeneous. That's just potential, and which is the thing. And when potential is dissipated through a resistance, then we say that is what energy is. And when you have energy, that's work. So for example, if we want to look at work, one volt times 1 amp equals 1 watt. Now 1 watt is not work, that's power. Watt is power. Okay, that's not energy yet, and that's not work yet. But if you take 1 watt and you multiply it over the period of time of 1 second, that means you're taking 1 watt of power and you're delivering it into doing some type of work for a period of 1 second, because if there's 0 seconds, obviously no work is being done. It's just a power measurement. So if you take the power and you multiply it by 1 second, then you have 1 watt second, or 1 joule of energy. Excuse the penmanship, but I think you get the point that 1 watt has to be utilized over a period of time, and when it's used over one period of time, that is dissipated and is going to do a certain amount of work. And so work is measured in watt seconds or joules. You know, if you're using electrical systems, you can measure it in watts. Or you can say force times distance is going to be a certain amount of joules of mechanical work done to move an object from one place to a next. So all I'm doing here is basically just showing you that work, this is what energy is. Because we know that work is measured in watt seconds, and we know that it's joules of energy, not joules of potential energy, which means the common definition for energy is erroneous, saying it's the capacity to do work. No, energy is work. So this is what work is. Work is taking a certain potential and utilizing it over a certain period of time where an organized amount of potential is disorganized into equilibrium. And it's flatlined, and then it's in equilibrium with its environment. And then there's no more work. It's back to being symmetrical, and then it has to be repolarized to be able to do more work again. So anyway, this is what work is. Work is actually doing something, creating heat, moving an object, whatever it happens to be, and work equals energy. Okay, so again, just keep in mind that as you start to look at this, it's going to make more and more sense that potential, those tiny subatomic gas particles which make up the ether, which is a substance that propagates light through so-called vacuum space. It's not true vacuum because it's filled with the ether. And potential is the thing, and energy is the verb or the action that potential experiences as it's doing work. Okay? And you can see the whole conventional mindset on this is completely backwards, where they see potential as the abstract and energy as a thing. That's wrong. Potential is the thing, energy is the verb or the action. And we go into more details in that in the book, in the Quantum Key in Chapter 2 on potential and energy. And I'll go ahead and end it right there. That just kind of clarifies kind of the main point there, and you can obviously read it in the book, and we'll go on to Chapter 3.